All right, we're here with a friend of mine, and he brought a buddy. Antonio's in the house.
What up,
guy? You want to follow some real estate advice? This is the guy. Okay. I don't know much about Milan. We're about to find out. So, I think it's an interesting question for you. So, there's so much financial advice out there, right? But according to stats from Go Banking, right? They say that only 32% of Americans trust financial advice from social media influencers, right? So what are sort of the telltale signs that you're getting advice from a fake guru?
Their intentions behind what they're trying to do. Like most people, if they're always going for a sale, then they really just care about the money. But if you're talking to someone and they actually respond, one thing is the quality of the content, right? If their content is actionable, it is direct and given, then that's a good person to follow. You might actually be able to get something. And then when you talk to them, if they actually seem to care about you and what you're going for and not just trying to pitch you something because they think it's a good idea, then the intention behind what they have to say is really what I think matters the most.
Gotcha. What would you have to say about that?
Yeah, so I'm actually a creator with over 6 million followers across my platforms. And as a finance creator, the biggest thing to know if they're legitimate or not is simply to add on to what Antonio was saying is if they're selling something, right? So if the videos don't have any sort of sales or anything, if 90 to 95%, obviously everybody has their own products, right? Whatever it might be. But as long as most of the videos are just providing free value, I think that's how you know it's legitimate. Or they have other businesses going for them besides the social media. That tells you that, okay, they're only doing it and they're just giving value because they have money coming in from other sources and not just some course, right? So that's a good telltale sign.
So they're just giving free value, and then occasionally they'll say, hey, look, by the way,
I have a
check
newsletter.
out my course, check out my product, material, what have you.
Exactly.
What's the good distribution for free value versus asking for a sale?
I'd say, for me personally, over 90% of my content, even 95%, has been just free, pure value. Like I only recently have I even started pushing stuff. I didn't even start getting on brands until I got like a million followers, right? So yeah, over 90% I think has to be pure value driven. And then the rest will convert and even do a lot better for the people that are, promoting their own products, if only such little of it is pushing out or promoting a product, right? So as long as everybody feels that trust is built, which is what that content is doing, and most of the time you're not selling them, they're really going to trust you, right? They're going to know your consistency and the commitment to the content. So they're going to be a lot more likely to buy stuff anyways. And I think that's just all around a much, much better way to go. You provide a lot more value. You're not being so salesy, and it's just a lot more legitimate, right? So
got it. Okay, cool. Next question. So it's been a pervasive problem in this country that, 2/3 of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 3/4 of Americans live you see it, and it's not something new. It has nothing to do with inflation. That obviously hasn't helped. Interest rates haven't helped for sure. Consumer price index hasn't helped, but it's been an ongoing problem for decades, if not longer. So what do you think is the biggest problem and why so many Americans are constantly living paycheck to paycheck? What do you think?
a big problem, I think, is just a lack of education in personal finance. A lot of people, most schools don't even have a requirement of knowing personal finance, but we're required to learn science and physics that we never ever use in our lives, right? That's a big reason. Our school system is a bit messed up when it comes to personal finance education, and that leads to a lack of skill in managing your money, a lack of discipline in managing your money, overspending, not even knowing. People don't even know they're overspending. Maybe it's not even the discipline. They don't even know it. They just use their credit cards, and at the end of the month, they realize they spent too much, they get in bad debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and it just keeps getting worse. Mainly, it comes down to a lack of education.
Gotcha. So what would you add on to that, Antonio?
I think that it's getting easier and easier to be in that percentage of people who have more money, but also at the same time, it's getting harder and harder. And it depends on just like a couple of things you do every day. If you're the type of person who's getting sucked into social media, it's going to be really hard for you to think clearly. It's going to be really hard for you to stop and say, okay, I should be saving more money. Let me come up with a plan on how to do that. But also, everything on social media is meant to be that quick dopamine. Like, you can see a girl shaking her ass. That's way better for you to watch.
I've never seen that on social media.
Yeah, I know you've never seen it. Oh my God. That's like the way better for you to look at primarily from an evolutionary standpoint than it is to sit down and watch a minute and 30-second video on how to buy your first rental property, because that includes savings and doing all these hard things. The game is getting harder day by day because of the economy and everything like that. But if there's so many more resources, the internet's available, there's so many more ways to borrow money and reach new people. So it's getting easier and harder, but those couple of actions you do every day can really make the difference between being on one side or being on the other side. And then you can get really sucked in to one or the other. It kind of either brings you up or brings you down, depending on which way you go.
Let's talk financial regrets. From what you've seen, because you do a lot of content, you speak with a lot of people, you obviously do the same thing as well. What do you think are sort of the biggest purchases or investments that the majority of Americans absolutely regret? What would you say?
I think buying their dream home in their 20s or early 30s. I've had so many of
This
my
is
friends,
coming from a real estate guy.
Yeah, I've been telling people I don't own my own house. I rent my girlfriend's mom's house and I pay $500 a month. I moved from New York City. I saved $1,600 a month in the 2-bedroom, and I moved to Austin, Texas. I saved $1,600. It was a better scenario. I got more space and everything. It's better than me buying a house, because if I bought a house in Austin, I'd be locked into a mortgage payment of $3,500 a month without any maintenance or anything like that. And that's a negative $3,000 cash flow of my personal statement. That $3,000 I could save and go buy a rental property at the end of the year, or invest in the S&P 500 or in crypto, or whatever the hell you want to do. But it's all about buying things that allow you to get a little bit more freedom, not buying things that lock you into more things.
It's interesting, because why I appreciate you is because this is like sort of the antithesis of being the fake guru. You're in the real estate game. You teach people how to buy rental properties, buy and flip, everything that you talk about in real estate. We're almost an advocate of saying, listen, you probably don't even want to buy a house until you're fully ready for that. What's your advice for people in that regard?
If you're making $3,000 a month from your investments and then you want to buy that dream house, go ahead, reward yourself. You got that $3,000 coming in, you can cover that cost of living. But the more you buy that dream thing, the car, the house, whatever it is, you've now made it a lot harder for yourself every single day. Now you can't quit your job. Now you can't start that side business. Now you can't, if you do get fired, support your family for a couple of months, because you now made it a lot harder on yourself. Don't make it harder on yourself. Start where you can. I made it harder on myself. I decided to move out of my parents' house and move to New York City. That was stupid. And I spent so much money on going out and drinks and eating and all the time. It was stupid. Don't do that. Learn from my mistake. I've changed when I was 27. It just took some time.
There you go. Good things take time. Same question to you. What do you think are most Americans' biggest financial regrets?
I wanted to kind of add on to him, because that is huge. Just the opportunity cost of not being able to invest and just having those massive expenses of a home. People don't realize there's homeowners insurance, there's repair costs, there's buying the furniture for the house, right? There's so many expenses that come up, and renting could actually just be a lot better. And the opportunity cost is investing in the S&P 500, getting a rental property. All those things can end up making you a lot more money and increasing your net worth a lot more than just owning a home and building equity in that, right? The other regret, I think, just my own, I think, is not investing sooner, because people don't understand the power of the S&P 500. Like, even if you're just investing $100 a month starting at age 25, by the time you're 55, you're going to be a millionaire, like a multi-millionaire. This is absolutely incredible. And a lot of people don't understand that later on in the age, and they don't have enough money for retirement. And I think that could be a massive regret of not building your wealth and not
I'm so glad that I got that advice in 2008. I had no money. I was just starting my career. An older buddy was like, so how much money did you lose in the market? I was like, well, nothing. I haven't started investing yet. He's like, well, now would be a great time to start because everything's half off.
Yeah.
Boom, 10 years later, I'm a millionaire because I did exactly what you're saying. Let's switch a little bit. I know we're going to get into some of your favorite topic. Dating, relationships, women, marriage, you know, just lighthearted stuff, not controversial whatsoever.
Not at all.
You're in a relationship?
Yeah, 5.5 years.
5.5 years? Are you in a relationship?
I'm single.
You're single. Gotcha. So how much does your partner's or your girlfriend's finances matter to you? How big of a deal is that?
I could date a girl that made no money or a girl that made a lot of money. It would make maybe 1% difference. I think if she was like spending our money together on stupid shit, I'd be really pissed. But other than that, finances don't really matter. It's more about how she thinks about the money.
Go deeper. So when you say that you can date a broke girl or date a rich girl, how would that actually affect the relationship?
Well, if she was buying the stupid shit, I'd be really pissed because I'm out here working hard to try to make a future for ourselves, buy rental properties, whatever, and then she's actively destroying that. Now, if she's
being a liability, not an asset.
Exactly. Now, if she's being neutral to it, meaning she's got a job, maybe she doesn't make so much money, but she's happy doing what she does, I'm happy with that.
Okay.
But it doesn't help me or hurt me in either way.
Gotcha.
Cool. It's
so
nice
is
to
your
have a
girl
little.
working? She's making money?
She works 2 part-time jobs. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. And then how much does she contribute to the household bills? How much are you doing? How's that equitability work?
We split everything 50-50. I think that's how she wants to do it. I think in the future, she would be happier when my business does better and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For me to take over 100% and she just stays home and has a good time.
How did you have that conversation about 50-50?
It kind of just naturally happened when I moved in. She was like, yeah, you got to cover this. And because I had been covering most of the stuff like dates and stuff like that. And then when we were home and splitting groceries, shit got real and we had to start talking about bills.
Got it.
That's the difference when you move in and you're just dating casually.
So when you say that you don't care how much she makes, how does that affect like the fact that she's actually splitting the bills with you? There might be some nuance there to uncover.
Yeah, well, our bills are low. So if she was like, yo, let's rent this $10,000 apartment, I'd be like, yo, you better step your shit up if you want to rent that $10,000 apartment.
Got it.
But luckily, she bought a rental property as well. She's very smart with money. I don't have to worry about that with her.
So you're single. You're a stud. How old are you?
I'm 25.
You're 20. You're just getting this party started, brother. You're getting this party.
Don't hype him up anymore. He doesn't need it.
All right, man.
People have been hyping me up too much,
you ain't
according
shit,
to him.
dog. You ain't shit. The girl that you end up dating, marrying, all that fun stuff, how much do you care about her finances, how much money she makes, how much she has saved up, her whole financial situation?
Yeah, so let me start off with a quote. Maybe you've heard this. So, a king will take a peasant and turn her into a queen, but a queen won't look a peasant's way. All right? So, it's, for me, I feel like as a man in the relationship, it's my job to provide. So, if finances don't matter, that doesn't mean that I want some dumb girl that's completely just broke, right? I do want a girl that's self-reliant, that's complete, that, that's already making good money, taking care of herself, but I can come in and fulfill my job as a man and provide for her. And she can keep working and do the thing and invest back in the family, right, in the kids or whatever it might be, or do whatever with the money. But obviously, if somebody loves you truly, they're going to invest back in the family anyways. So to me, finances don't play a massive role, but intelligence does. I do want a self-reliant girl who's, at least she can take care of herself. And then when I'm in the relationship, of course, I'm the one paying the bills. So to me, it doesn't matter much.
No doubt about the queen will not look a peasant's way. The king, how hot does that peasant have to be in order for him to wife her up?
Oh man, she has to be not just hot. She has to have very good natural feminine energy, right? Because that energy will make her 10 times more attractive than just being hot. If she's hot but she's fucking rude, she's not kind, she's not loving, it doesn't matter how hot she is, I'm not going to take her. But if she's not necessarily, according to society standards, like very, very hot, but she's super sweet, she's super feminine, she's super kind and loving, I mean, I'll take that. I'll turn her into a queen.
What we're talking about is not so much like OnlyFans hot. We're talking about outer beauty, but coinciding with inner beauty.
Exactly.
The epitome of femininity. All right, amazing.
Man. Yeah.
How much would it affect you if your girl made significantly more than you in a relationship?
So I've thought about this question before, and I've worked on myself a lot. I think before it would make me insecure, but now that I've studied just the nature of humans more and my role as a man in the relationship more, because I'm the one paying the bills, it doesn't matter if she makes more money than me or not. As long as I can pay all the bills of the home that's required, then I'm fine with that. And she can do whatever she wants with the extra money, like we said, invest back here, do whatever she wants. But my job, I'm doing my part, right, which is providing for her and paying for everything and the bills.
Okay. How about you? Your girl, you don't have a huge monthly nut. You're living in grandma's house or whatever it is. Your girlfriend's mom's house. How much would it affect you if your girl started just crushing it at work and she's like looking at you like, Antonio, I'm making $500,000 a year. You're making $100,000. Well, what's up? How much would that affect your psyche?
I think it plays more on the subconscious than it does anything else. If a girl's making more than you in the relationship and, maybe she's starting to take on more bills and more responsibilities financially, it comes off as you ain't providing for me. You're not this man that I want, and I'm going to look for something better. Because I truly believe that girls are hypergamous. They're going to look for the best thing in the room. And if I'm less than her, then that's going to signal a lot more at a subconscious level. I need to get out of here quicker. So I think my clock of how long we could stay together will get shorter and shorter the longer that scenario keeps happening. So deep down inside, it's not good. On the outside, it might be okay for a short period of time, but it's not going to pan out well in the long term.
Women are always looking for the bigger, better deal, the BBD, right?
Social status is what matters.
Gentlemen, just know that women are
hypergamous.
Hypergamy is a real thing. Simple question, but it's not that simple. How willing are you to just take care of your woman financially for the rest of your life?
If I could do it right now, I would 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Why do you think that when I ask women this question, they're like, what do you mean take care of my guy? Like, what is it about female nature? They're just like, dude, I ain't built for taking care of a man and his bills. What do you think?
I mean, for me, I always just forgetting even today's society. If you look back at it from a biological perspective, even from the caveman days, right? The men were the one that were going out, they were hunting, they were coming and bringing the food and providing for the women. And women are naturally more nurturing, more emotionally caring, more empathetic, better at raising children for those reasons, right? So if you can't do your job as a man and go out there into the world and solve problems and make the money and provide, then she's gonna get turned off completely by that. So that's why women prefer, I think, innately a man that can provide for them, and they don't want to have to provide for a man, right?
Speaking of being sort of like the nurturing, stay-at-home, feminine role, sort of a funny question, but what would it take for you to feel comfortable staying at home every day, taking care of the kids, being the nurturing dad, the stay-at-home dad, while your girl goes out to work every day? What would it take for you in order to do that?
There's nothing that it would
Come
take.
on, put on an apron.
I'm thinking about that, and I got the kid in one arm, and I'm making pasta.
You're chest
over
feeding
here.
right here?
Yeah. Oh, chest feeding too now. That wasn't part of the original question.
Maybe
No, it's not even comprehensible to you. How about you, Milan?
maybe you'd have to give me like hormonal changes or something to make that happen.
Oh,
We can
now
do
we're
that.
doing
That exists.
We're transitioning right now.
Like, I don't know. No, because, innately, men are not.
Milan just came Meredith, and it's just, you're a good-looking dude. I think you would make a very ugly chick.
Oh my God, thanks. But
You're like, thanks.
seriously, yeah. For me, it would be very difficult to do that. I think it goes against a man's nature. It's emasculating to a man to stay at home because that's not your natural role. I mean, come on, right? So I go based off. I'm a very traditional person. I'm going based off of biological levels, right? And if we go against our innate natures and a man starts staying home and being the emotionally nurturing and caring one, she's naturally going to start to resent you. It's not within our natures.
Gotcha.
So just going based off that, I wouldn't be able to
There's
do
a lot
it.
of woke people out there are going to be like, dude, what are you talking about, dude? Times have changed. What's going on? What's with this whole tradition thing? What's with this whole that's been going on for millennia? Times have changed, Milan. Get with the times, bro.
They might have changed, but hey, biologically, we're still the same.
You're in a relationship, 5 years. What do you think are some of the biggest financial mistakes that people make in relationships? What's been the biggest challenge for you?
I would say that mindset between one person versus the other person and being misaligned about what you want to do. My ex-girlfriend wanted to move into New York City right away, and that's what she wanted to do, and she wished that I had moved quicker, but I wasn't ready financially to do that, nor even when I did should I have, right? And so that misalignment of what someone wants to spend money on versus what someone else wants to do and have financial goals, I think is one of the biggest mistakes of like actually finding that partner who's willing to make the financial sacrifices to invest and do all the other things you need to do to potentially have a future better scenario than the one you have right now.
So I know you're not in a relationship right now, but you're going to probably enter one soon. What are you most fearful of entering a relationship, financially speaking?
I'd say the fear that comes to mind right now is getting with someone, and I am of the provider mindset, but if I do separate, I mean, we're separated. It's not my role anymore, depending on the situation, of course, completely. But if I just get with a girl, we get together, and then we completely separate, my role has now become different. Now I have to find somebody else, basically, right, who's going to be a better fit. So my biggest fear would be her taking all my money or something. I think that would be...
How would she take your money if you're not married?
Oh, I that was assuming if I was married.
Okay, gotcha.
but-
You're saying the prenup thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There are obviously things you can
Have
do
you
to
had
prevent-
the marriage and prenup talk with your girl? How'd that
She's
go?
cool with it.
She's cool with it?
Yeah.
Really?
Her parents got divorced, and so she's very well aware of it. My biggest thing is I'm trying to minimize everything I possibly can ahead of marriage to not get a divorce and having these conversations. And I invest, she invests, and we don't want that to hurt any of our futures. And I would never want to hurt her or take money from her or her take money from me.
These are what is called crucial conversations. You're how old? 28?
I just turned 30.
That's right. You're 30. I mean, when I met you, you were 28.
Yeah.
I'm going back.
He's
to
I'll
very
take the
young.
28.
You'll take it, baby. And you're 25, you said. Okay.
Yep.
Look at the camera right there. Give your best advice to the guys out there when it comes to life, relationships, and finances. Go ahead. 30 seconds.
Sacrifice now and capitalize on it later. It's by having the conversations with someone ahead of time might be awkward, but it's better to have it now. With having the conversations with yourself about what you want and actually taking action on what you want, it may feel like no one else around you is doing it, but if you look online, there's plenty of people doing it, and you can do it at any age, I promise you, no matter what.
Mine would be, if you want to win in life, you can't be average. You have to be focused, committed, and you have to be very dedicated to succeed in today's world. And average just doesn't cut it anymore, so you really have to go above and beyond.
I love, anyway, both of that advice, because you're talking about mindset, you're talking about good things take time, but the average thing, I just had a conversation with, do you know who Pearly Things is? Pearl?
I've heard of her.
Okay, so she's like the female Andrew Tate. She was talking about how like men don't get enough respect, like the average working man, you know, the truck driver, the construction worker. And I said, yeah, you know, maybe on a macro level, yeah, they've sort of, you know, don't get as much respect as they used to. And if you look at the numbers, like the average guy isn't getting the average girl anymore. The average girl wants the bigger, better deal. But I also said, hey, look, and I'm pushing back on a woman as a man, being like, why does a guy deserve respect just because he's driving a truck or just because he's a construction worker? Just the average guy, although we should respect all men, we should show respect, what has he done to garner respect? And I think what you're saying is like, if you're average, that's cool. Expect to be treated averagely, right? But if you actually want that status, that respect that comes with being a high value man, being that dude, you're gonna have to basically be that dude, because no one's just gonna give you that respect just because you're a guy. You have to go grab it and
earn it,
become that.
Absolutely agree.
Well, you guys are doing it, bro. Antonio, you know how much I fucking appreciate you, bro. Yeah, Milan, low key, stud right there.
Oh, you like that? Well, if you want to see more of that, check out this clip right here. And if you want even more, check out this clip right here, only on the SOSCAST.